Chapter 3. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed down, and prostrated themselves before Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not down, nor prostrated himself before him. Then the king's servants that were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, Why transgresseth you the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spoke daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's words would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not down, nor prostrated himself before him, then was Haman full of wrath, and it seemed contemptible in his eyes to lay hands on Mordecai alone. For they had made known to him the people of Mordecai before, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, which is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom, and their laws are diverse from those of every people. Neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it profiteth not the king to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those that have the charge of the king's business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand, and gave it unto Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, The silver is given to you, and the people also, to do with them as it seems good to you. Then were the king's scribes called in the first month, on the 13th day thereof, and there was written, according to all that Haman commanded, unto the king's satraps and the governors that were over every province, and the princes of every people, to every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and it was sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. And the copy of the writing, to be given out for a decree in every province, was to be published unto all peoples, that they should be ready against that day. And the post went forth in haste, by the king's commandment, and the decree was given out in Shushan the castle. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Shushan was perplexed. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Now yesterday, we remember that this would happen in the 7th year. We was in the 7th year of Ahasuerus, and this was where he remembered what he had done to Vashti. Vashti was the queen, she was the beauties, and he had went through all the land and got all the virgins, all the most beautiful virgins together from the land, and he had brought them in, and the king had sorted through them, so to speak, and picked out the best one for himself, and it is Esther. Esther is the star of the book. Esther means star. Esther is this light, this understanding that comes from God, or we will use it as in that similitude. And we'll find out now in the end of it all, there was a conspiracy to kill the king, and Mordecai, which is Esther's cousin, I might say, I believe I said it was her uncle, but it's not. She would be the daughter of his uncle. Now which he took to be his own daughter after the death of her parents. We will find out that Mordecai found out about this conspiracy to kill the king, and he has let Esther know, and Esther told the king, and they found it all out to be true, and those two were punished. But now we're going to pick up this chapter. We're going to pick it up in the first We're going to pick it up in the 12th year of Ahasuerus, so this would be about 5 years later or so. And verse 1, after these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. So several years later, after the marriage of Esther, we'll find out the king, Ahasuerus, he was the king of the Medes. Ahasuerus means I will silence the poor, or silence the poor. He would be the king of the Medes, and that's those that are raised up. And Haman, he's going to promote Haman, and Haman is the son of Hammedatha. Haman means this to be magnified, and we'll find out. I'm going to refer to him as this magnified one, or to be magnified once, because he is the son of Hammedatha. And he come forth from Hammedatha, and Hammedatha is this one who was magnified twice. The Agagite, and the Agagite is this one who I will overtop, or overtops, or outdoes, or is above, or over even. But we'll find out Ahasuerus advances him, and he sets Haman above all the other princes, too. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed down and prostrated themselves before Haman. For the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not down, nor prostrated himself before him. And all the king's servants, all these that did the king's business and served the king, that were in the king's gate, and that's that place of judgment, they bowed down and prostrated themselves before Haman, this magnified one. But we'll find out, see, Mordecai, he does not bow down before him. 3. Then the king's servants that were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest you the king's commandment? Then all the king's servants, all these that were in the king's gate, or these in the king's judgment, said unto Mordecai, and Mordecai, if we remember from yesterday, Mordecai is this small portion of men. Why transgressest you the king's commandment? Why do you transgress against the king's laws? These laws, we'll find out, these ones that rule over men. 4. Now it came to pass, when they spoke daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's words would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. Now it came to pass, and this came to pass, or after a certain number of days these things were accomplished, that was found out, see, that Mordecai was not going to bow down to the king, or to Haman, that they told Haman. They told the magnified one that Mordecai, he's not going to bow down to you. He's a Jew. And this Jew, once again, these are those of Judah, those that come from Judah, that are referred to as Jews, or those of Judah. They're going to see whether Mordecai's words would stand, because Mordecai has let them know that he obeys the laws and these of God, and these should cover all the law, period. Whether that of man, and any law that man creates, we'll find out outside the law of God, is purely for personal gain. 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not down, nor prostrated himself before him, then was Haman full of wrath. So when Haman understands that Mordecai, this small portion of men, is not going to bow down, see, unto him, this magnified one, nor prostrate himself out before him, it makes Haman, this magnified one, very angry. 6. But it seemed contemptible in his eyes to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had made known to him the people of Mordecai, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. But this saying, it don't seem right in Haman's eyes, this magnified one's, just to lay hands on Mordecai by himself, see, this small portion of men, because he, we'll find, is going to seek to destroy all those of Judah, all those appraisings that are throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus. And he was the king of the Medes, this one who silenced the poor, even the people of Mordecai, and that would be those of Judah, those of Judah. Judah at this time was made of those of Judah. There was those of Simeon. Remember the story, how it went. They come from every nation, all the 12 nations and tribes, back to God, back to Jerusalem, and that or Judah, and they settled that area. So this was made of many nations, and that's why it's written. See, that remnant even of Israel that's left in Judah. So when we say the Jews, we are really talking about the whole house of Israel, the remnant of it. And because we'll find out, see, God always making his example, and they were scattered out throughout this whole kingdom. See, these people of Mordecai, 7. And the first month, which is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pur, that is, the lot before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. And it would be in the first month, and the first month first is always the beginning. It is the beginning. I mean, the first month is the beginning of the year, or the greater understanding. Even the first month is the first cycle of the moon. Even this lesser light, God gave to rule over the darkness in the beginning, which is that cycle of the moon of Nisan. And Nisan means their flight, because we remember that was the month they come up out of Egypt. And it was in the 12th year, though, of King Ahasuerus, and this 12th, a 12th is 10 and 2. It's the law being witnessed, and when we can witness the law, we have an understanding. We have understanding, see. Even that portion, or the 12th, it's a portion of the greater understanding, even in King Ahasuerus, this one who silences the poor. They cast this pur, and this pur is not only a lot. Pur means to stomp out and destroy utterly, basically. We can take it to that. Pur is where they where the festival of Purim comes in, and we'll find out. It means the casting of these lots they cast. We'll find out, to destroy, to utterly destroy and to stomp out and mash away. Purim is the plural for pur. And they cast these lots before Haman, day to day, from month to month, the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. And they cast these lots so Haman could decide what day they would set this decree. And they did it day to day before Haman, this magnified one. From month to month, from cycle to cycle, they did these things. And to the 12th month, which would be the month of Adar, and 12th, once again, it's that little portion of understanding that comes from the lesser light, which would be that month of Adar, and the 12th is the last month. This would, from the first to the last month, the whole cycle here. Adar means glorious. 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of the kingdom, your kingdom, and their laws are diverse from those of every people. Neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it profiteth not the king to suffer them. And Haman, he says to the king Ahasuerus before the king, this magnified one, and Ahasuerus being this one who silenced the poor, there's a certain people that who scattered out, they're scattered out among all the provinces of your kingdom, and their laws are different from those of all the other people, and because they have the law of God. We'll find out these few laws that God give them, their ways and their traditions and their understandings they are in, and they're different from everybody else. They don't keep the king's laws, and it's one fact that they did not bow down to Haman. Therefore, it doesn't profit the king to suffer them. It don't profit to keep them around. There's no good in them. 9. But if it pleased the king Let it be written that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those that have the charge of the king's business, to bring it into the king's treasures. But now, if this thing would please the king, let it be written, let it be inscribed, that they be destroyed, and I will pay the 10,000 talents of silver. And this price, we'll find out, this price that's going to be weighed out, it's the law, 10. See, that's the law in fulfillment, thousands. And these 10,000 talents, and the talents is the weight. That's the weight of the silver, and that's that which is going to pass through the fire to be purified in the works of those that have charge of the king's business. 10. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king will find out, he takes the ring off his hand. That's his signet. That's what makes the king's seal. It's like the king's word. It's the same as the king's word, that signet. It's on his hand. That's his works. And he gives it unto Haman, this one, magnified one. He's the son of this one who was magnified twice. The Agagite, or this one who's above, the Jews' enemy. 11. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to you, the people also, to do with them as it seems good to you. And the king said to Haman, the magnified one, this silver, that which is going to pass through the fire, that's given to you. And the people also, do with them whatever you want. He give the Jews and the silver to their hand. 12. Then were the king's scribes called in the first month, on the 13th day thereof, and there was written according to all that Haman commanded, unto the king's satraps and the governors, and they were over every province, and the princes of every people, to every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of the king Ahasuerus was it written, and it was sealed with the king's ring. And after this was the king called together his scribes. These that would write, we'll find out. Come on, takes the ring, and he calls together all the king's scribes in this first month. This is the beginning of that period of lesser light. And we'll find out God making an example through this darkness he's bringing on them. And it was on the 13th day thereof. 13th, see, because 10 and 3, it's the law to be completely witnessed, even to be complete, even the portion of the law that's completed in this understanding. And it was written, it was inscribed, everything that command, this magnified one, commanded. And it was written, this word was written in every language, and sent out unto every province in the name of Ahasuerus. It was written down. That's Ahasuerus, that one silenced the poor. It was written in his name, and it was sealed with his signet. 13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day. And yet, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. And the letters were sent by posts, and these were those that would deliver by their assignments, those that were assigned to deliver whichever way they went, into all the king's provinces. That's throughout all the 127 provinces of the kings of King Ahasuerus, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all those from Judah, all the Jews, both young and old. These are the little children and the women in one day. And that would be in the beginning of these understandings, was this decree to go forth. Even upon the 13th day of the 12th month. And that would be the day that they would be slain. It would be the 13th day. The decree went forth on the first month of the 13th day. That would be the day right before Passover. See, the 14th day would be the day of Passover, so it was just before, we'll find out. And they would be slain on the 13th day of the 12th month. And the 13th day would be, once again, that complete that portion of the law and understanding. uh, in the 12th month. That also, that there could be a portion of understanding in the lesser light. See, God gave it to rule over the night, or the darkness in the beginning. God gave it. See, God gave it. Which it's the month of Adar, and that's that glorious month. And to take the spoil of them for prey. Because, see, they're just going to kill all the Jews and take everything they got. 14. The copy of the writing, to be given out for a decree in every province, was to be published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. And a copy of that writing was to be given out into every province, every nation which was under the control of the king Ahasuerus, which we'll find out at that time God had given all nations under his hand in that area. It was to be published in every language and to be ready for that understanding. 15. The post went forth in haste by the king's commandment, and the decree was given out in Shushan the castle. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Shushan was perplexed. And the post went forth, and these that were sent, these messengers, these ones who would carry the tale of the king, this publication, this decree even, and it went forth in haste, and it was hurried to get it out, because it was the king's commandment. And the decree was given out in Shushan. Shushan, once again, is that lily. That's that little flower springing forth. Even this understanding we can witness here, and we can see once again, this is going to be a great work of God. And we'll find out the king and Haman, they sat down to drink, to make their heart merry, and to rest and relax, while all the city, that's that place of guard, Shushan, that's this which is springing forth, were perplexed, and they was in great confusion. All the city was in great confusion about what was going on. We'll pick it up here tomorrow, and we'll pick it up here in the next chapter, chapter 4. Turn and return.